Yo, what's good? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of Dre's State of Mind. Now, it's a lot of stuff to run down on and catch up on, so buckle up and bear with me, because we're gonna go over some stuff. So, yeah, man, it's what we about to get into. So, let's get into it with no further ado.
Yo, Dre, just stopping by to show some love, man. You know, it's been a minute, and of course, it's your favorite uncle, Uncle Dewey. And like I said, it's been a minute, and hold tight because I'm getting ready to do another episode later on this month. The time now, it's had to look at that real quick. It's 9:10 p.m. on June 17th. It's a Friday. Do your normal Friday things, whatever that may consist of. Anyway, like I said, I was just dropping by to show some love. What's up with you, man? What's going on? And keep it moving, man. Keep doing what you do. All right? Stay tuned.
So, I'm pretty sure that you've heard that the Supreme Court has overturned the Roe v. Wade judgment. And, yeah, so that's where we're at right now. But pretty much, like, I'm going to take it back to the basics and let y'all know exactly what the Supreme Court is and why it has so much power. So, what exactly does the Supreme Court do? Now, in essence, the Supreme Court decides if laws and government actions are constitutional and outlines that breadth and limits of government. Now, when a case reaches the Supreme Court, typically through a process of several years, it's important because the precedent the majority opinion sets is then the standard by which future laws are measured. Now, that's due to the principle of quote-unquote stare decisis, Latin for to stand by a decision. Now, where a current court should be bound by previous rulings. Now, are Supreme Court judgment what are the Supreme Court decisions final? Yes, in the sense that they can't be overturned by another body, but no, in the sense that the court can overturn or change its own precedent over time, as it did with the odious decisions allowing racial segregation, or last month's reversal of the 1973 decision in Roe v. Wade, which had guaranteed the constitutional right to obtain abortion. Now, can Congress overrule decisions? Not directly, but Congress can pass laws that respond to the rulings, which pretty much these red states did. They passed laws that respond to the ruling. So, the 21 states are banning, abortion, things of that nature. So that's how a Supreme Court judgment, Supreme Court judgment ruling affects Congress in a sense. So, now, for instance, the court ruled in 2007 that Lilly Ledbetter had not filed an equal pay discrimination complaint within the allowed time period because she had not discovered the discrepancy until years later. Now, President Barack Obama signed a law in 2009 that eliminated those previous restrictions. Now, what about amending the Constitution? The Supreme Court interprets the Constitution, so amending the document changes how the court is able to rule, but amending the Constitution is a Herculean political task requiring, in theory, mass public support, which doesn't exist for either party at the moment. Now, why do some presidents get to appoint more than others? It's just pretty much luck in politics. So Presidents Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Obama each served 8 years and got two justices confirmed. Trump, he only had like one term, and he appointed 3. So pretty much why 3? Because one of Obama's final nominees in 2016 was blocked by Republicans. One actually retired, and then the other one, who was Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she had passed away in 2020. So that's why he appointed 3 justices. Now, are there any requirements to be a justice? And the answer to that is no. It's most common that nominees now have strong legal pedigrees, Ivy League, law school, experience clerking for previous justices, or experience on federal appeals courts. But there's really like no, requirements to be a justice. I guess like anybody, if they feel you have a good track record or something like that, like they can just pretty much nominate you to become a justice once the opening happens. Keegan, Justice Keegan was a Harvard law professor and a solicitor in general, a top Justice Department attorney, but was never a judge. Okay, he was never a judge. So the state Chief Justice Earl Warren had been the governor of California. So, like I said, it's really like there's no requirement or, to be a justice. Now, Supreme Court justices appointed for life. Yes, as the judges are judges for other federal courts, they can serve until death or retirement. It means they're in theory insulated for the whims of the political branches now, but it doesn't make the justices popular. Current polls show that fewer than 1/3 of Americans have confidence in the court. Now, can justices be removed? Yes, via impeachment. So just like a president, you can impeach a justice. The same process is used to remove a U.S. president. The House will vote to impeach, and the Senate will have a trial and vote on whether to remove the justice. It's never happened for a Supreme Court justice, however. That would be a great time to impeach like a few of those motherfuckers. But what is court packing? Now, the Constitution doesn't say how many justices the court must have, but the number has been set at 9 since the mid-19th century and codified into law since. So, in theory, the president can nominate, and the Senate can confirm more justices to swing the court in its desired direction. Now, President Franklin D. Roosevelt, he suggested this in the 1930s after the court has struck down many of his quote-unquote New Deal policies. Recently faced with a court that has six conservatives and 3 liberals, Democratic politicians have suggested adding several more justices to tilt the balance of power. So pretty much like that's what people were trying to get Joe Biden to do, but his scary ass, or him and Kamala Harris, like they weren't interested in that. So that's pretty much what led to, Roe v. Wade getting overturned, because there's like 6 conservatives and like 3 liberals or whatever. So that's how you get the 6-3, or it's like 5-4, something like that, like what the judgment was. So now how does the Supreme Court work? The Supreme Court first met in 1790 as the highest court in the judicial branch of government. The justices are led by the Chief Justice of the United States. That's the official title. Now, the court has occupied its current building in Washington since 1935. Previously, it borrowed space in the Senate chambers in the U.S. Capitol. Now, traditionally, each term begins the first Monday in October, and final opinions are usually issued by late June. Justices divide their time between quote-unquote sittings, where they hear cases and issue decisions, and quote-unquote recesses, where they meet in private to write their decisions and consider other business. Consider other business before the court. So in the courtroom, justices are seated by seniority, and the Chief Justice in the middle, and the junior most justices are on the outside. So before public arguments and private conferences where decisions are discussed, the 9 members all shake hands to show harmony harmony of purpose. So just to be like, all right, we're all on the same team, even though they're pretty much not. As the gavel sounds and the justices are seated, the marshal shouts the traditional welcome, which reads, oyez, I guess it's oyez. So all persons having business before the Honorable, the Supreme Court of the United States, and admonished to a hearing near and give their attention, for the court is now sitting. God save the United States and in this honorable court. So that's like, how I guess like the court starts and things of that nature. So cameras are not allowed, and until the COVID-19 pandemic, live audio for oral arguments wasn't available either, meaning that the actions of the 9 men and women that could impact every aspect of American life happens in the shadows. So that is pretty much the rundown on the Supreme Court and how they get down. So it's been officially a week since Roe v. Wade, and this is how abortion laws have changed in this country so far within a week. So some states have trigger laws in place. Trigger laws automatically restricted or removed access to abortion once Roe v. Wade was overturned. Some of the trigger laws ban abortions almost completely, while others outlaw abortions after 6 weeks or 15 weeks. How quickly the trigger laws will go into effect will vary from state to state. The following states have passed laws that severely restrict abortion access, with the states in bold completely banning the procedure. So Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and South Dakota, and Idaho, Wyoming. No, hold up. So it's Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Dakota have completely banned abortion. Actually, hold up. There's a map over here. Okay, so the ones that are legal and accessible, like for where abortion is legal and accessible, is like California, Nevada, Alaska. I'm trying to look at all these states, like pretty much on this map. I'm not really too familiar with some of these states. I'm not really good with geography. But yeah, definitely Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Dakota have pretty much like they've banned abortions. Some states will enact laws soon. Mississippi is scheduled to completely ban abortions July 7th. Meanwhile, laws restricting abortions in Arizona are set to take effect July 23rd. Now says the situation is changing rapidly in some states. In Kentucky, Judge Mitch Perry issued a temporary restraining order preventing the state from enforcing a ban passed in 2019, triggered by the Supreme Court's decision. Now in Louisiana, abortion services resumed after District Court Judge Robin, I guess it's Giarusso, also issued a temporary restraining order blocking the state from carrying out this ban. A Utah judge has temporarily blocked the state's near total abortion ban after Planned Parenthood challenged that the state's trigger law contains narrow exceptions. In Florida, Circuit Court Judge John Cooper said he would grant a petition from abortion rights groups to temporarily put on hold a state law that would bar abortions after the 15th week of pregnancy. In Texas, an abortion ban has been blocked, but another law that severely restricts abortion access is in effect. So that Texas is like, their law is weird. It gotta be Texas. Now, where is abortion still legal? The Gut Matcher Institute estimates 26 states are certainly or likely to ban abortion, leaving women in large areas of the U.S. Southwest and Midwest without nearby access to medical procedure. Most states where abortion will still be legal are on the West Coast in California, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington, or in the Northeast. Illinois is now an island for abortion access, with four of the state's neighbors immediately banning abortion after the Supreme Court's decision, with two other states restricting the procedure. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says just a handful of states are going to have to take care of women's health, the health of women across the country. Now, Planned Parenthood in Montana has already stopped providing medication abortions to patients who live in states with bans in place to quote unquote minimize potential risk for providers, health center staff, and patients in the face of rapidly changing law landscape, end quote. Mr. Biden said the federal government would act to protect women who need to travel to get an abortion and ensure their access to medication in states where it's banned. Now, New Jersey is my home state, is one of the states where abortion is legal and accessible. Believe New York State is as well. Pennsylvania is legal but restricted for now. North Carolina is legal and accessible, or is it legal? Yeah, it's legal and accessible. But South Carolina is legal but restricted. So that's crazy. Like the Carolinas are like different. Yeah, so that's pretty much like how I guess like 1 week after the ruling, like these laws are being affected. So in other news, now Ketanji Brown Jackson was actually appointed to the Supreme Court. So pretty much like, yeah, so Ketanji Brown Jackson was sworn in as the Supreme Court's first black woman, I guess, judge on the Supreme Court. She was sworn in as the 116th Supreme Court Justice and the first black woman to serve on the High Court. Now, the ceremony caps a month-long process, that essentially began in February, when President Biden, fulfilling a campaign promise to nominate the first black woman to the Supreme Court, announced Jackson, age 51, as his pick to replace Justice Stephen Breyer, 83. Breyer, whom Jackson served for after she graduated from Harvard Law School in 1996, officially retired Thursday, paving the way for her to be sworn in. So that is like the one lone, I guess, bright spot that's going on with the Supreme Court right now. Jackson was sworn. Well, she was voted through. She pretty much got in when the Senate voted 53 to 47 on her nomination, and pretty much like it says, it has taken 232 years and 115 prior appointments for a black woman to be selected to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States, but we've made it, and we made it, all of us. So like that was her statement. So pretty much that's the one lone spot that's dawning on the Supreme Court right now, because they're not really in a favorable light right now, because of overturning Roe v. Wade. Now they are actually going to try to review, I guess, like other cases and try to overturn those as well. So, and then I guess like it seems like the charge is being led by like Clarence Thomas, and he's not one of the most popular people in this country right now. And to prove that, it says nearly 850,000 people signed a petition demanding that Justice Clarence Thomas should be booted from the Supreme Court following the Roe v. Wade ruling. Thousands of people have signed a petition to impeach Justice Clarence Thomas. About 841,016 people have signed on the Move On petition as of Saturday. The calls to remove Thomas were heightened after Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Hundreds of thousands of people have signed a petition demanding the removal of Justice Clarence Thomas from the Supreme Court following the reversal of Roe v. Wade. Last week, the highest court's conservative justices repealed the landmark ruling that legalized abortion across the United States. So yeah, so there's a lot of people that want him out. So pretty much following the overturning of Roe v. Wade, Thomas said the court should also, quote unquote, reconsider rulings that protect contraception access, same-sex relationships, and same-sex marriage. So I told people, like, once I saw it was official that Roe v. Wade got overturned, I was like, this is just the start of the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg. Like, they're going to go after other people, but other groups, and look into their freedoms, and then try to, I guess, like, reverse their freedoms too. And I already knew the first thing that they was going to really try to go after was like, same-sex marriage and things of that nature, because it's a quote-unquote abomination for conservatives and things of that nature, which it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, these motherfuckers should not have this much power on this country. But yeah, like, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. But that is what's pretty much going on right now, man. Like, this country is it's wild right now. It's very wild. And I've actually seen people white people who said that they're ashamed of being an American, which is like fucking crazy to me, because these be the motherfuckers who be going hard the most for this country. Like, I see some black people be like, I'm proud to be American, but I'm just like, man, they ain't really never did shit for us, my guy. And overturning Roe v. Wade, pretty much like it is going to affect like minority women the most. So yeah, this shit is crazy, dog. I found a interesting article. This pretty much says U.S. Supreme Court takes aim at separation of church and state. Now it says the conservative majority U.S. Supreme Court has chipped away at the wall separating church and state in a new series of rulings, eroding American legal traditions intended to prevent government officials from promoting any particular faith. Now, in this country, it is no fucking secret that, Christianity is pretty much like the leading religion in this country. Everybody, there's some Catholics and Protestants and all the other stuff like that, but it seems like the majority of these politicians lead with their Christian beliefs and things of that nature, and sign laws or do shit from their Christian beliefs, and the shit is just really fucking annoying, because it's all right, so just because you read from the Bible and you believe in their teachings and everything like that, doesn't mean your beliefs should be forced upon other people who don't believe in your beliefs. So that's it's becoming a major issue more and more nowadays, especially with these conservative right wingers, and it's just ridiculous. This is where that abolishing or banning abortion comes from. Well, that, and my belief is it's just pretty much white man, white people, the white man trying to preserve the white race, really. There's a lot of white women getting abortions and stuff like that. So it was 60% of white women had were getting abortions, things of that nature. So if you can save that 60%, or the majority of that 60%, you know what I'm saying? Because white folks are, on pace of being the minority in this country pretty soon, within the next 20 years. So, it's all about self-preservation in my eyes, and then also with religious beliefs as well. But so pretty much wall separation. It actually was President Thomas Jefferson who famously said in 1802 in a letter that the Establishment Clause should represent a quote-unquote wall separation between church and state. The provision prevents the government from establishing a state religion and prohibits it from favoring one faith over another. So, in the 3 recent rulings, the court decided that the government actions intended to maintain the separation of church and state had instead infringed separate rights to freedom of speech, free speech, or the free exercise of religion, also protected by the First Amendment. But as liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote in the main case, such an approach, quote, leads us to a place where separation of church and state becomes a constitutional violation. So opinions vary over to how much flexibility government officials have in allowing religious expression, whether by public employees or on public land, or by people during an official proceeding. So those who favor the strict separation of church and state are concerned that the landmark Supreme Court precedents, including 1962 ruling that prohibited prayer in public schools, could be, imperiled. So it's a whole new door that the court has opened to teachers, coaches, government employees could do when it comes to this word proselyting to children. I don't even know what that word means. Now, Lori Wyndham, a lawyer who with religious liberty legal group Beckett said the court's decisions will allow greater religious expression by individuals without undermining the Establishment Clause. So this is like, my whole thing is like, everybody should be able to exercise, their right, free speech, exercise their religion, things of that nature, as long as like you're not sitting up here and trying to impose that shit on other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, or having backlash, or because there's plenty of stuff that out here that I don't really agree with, but I don't really give a fuck or like really care, just as long as because even if I see it and I don't really rock with it, like I could just, like, anybody in their right mind can just like either just just choose not to fuck with it, let you do you. But like it's these people, they just feel the need to be right and just tell you that your opinion is wrong and things of that nature. Like that's where the shit is like muddled at. And it's a damn shame that you have to have like a law or fight over laws to have you be able to fully express, like I guess like your religious beliefs, or even your sexuality, things of that nature. Like shit is just crazy in this country, like how people just can't agree to disagree. Like people they gotta take shit to the extreme, or my religion is better than yours and my religion is real and blah 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 and all this and that. Like pretty much my view is, people already know my view, like religion is bullshit, period. Like it doesn't matter what faith that you believe in. I don't believe in none of that shit. But I let you rock. I let you rock with it. I understand like people's views are not gonna match with mine all the time, but I'm willing to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like that's another thing. People are not willing to learn or tolerate other people's religious or sexual preferences and things of that nature. Like even like with the sexual preference stuff, like my thing is like, do you, as long as you're not fucking with kids. Like if you fucking with kids, then that's when you gotta go. Like that's where I draw the line at. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like, god damn, like in this country, can we just let people just let people be? Like that's all. That's all. Like, and stop trying to force religion and like just try to, I guess, like force laws and things of that nature based on your religious views, because not everybody has those religious views. So god damn, like, but it's impossible to keep the wall between church and state, because like most people, or some of these super religious people, like that's how they live their life. They live their life by their religious views. So it's impossible to keep a separation of church and state, but you can't really let that shit and like have a total influence. Like you gotta do what's best for the people. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all think. And yeah, this has been pretty much like a heavy episode for me, man. But yeah, man, let's just move on. Well, this wraps up this episode, and just like to thank all my listeners out here. Pretty much, if you've been a long time listener, thank you. If you're a first time listener, welcome. Welcome aboard. And yeah, man, so after this past week, just gotta buckle up, man, like, cause and pay attention to how everything is going, because yeah, like this shit is crazy. So the Supreme Court is out here fucking up, and yeah, so all we can do is I guess, like, the legal way, vote these people out, get some new blood in there. That comes for the Senate as well, like Congress, just politicians, period. Get these old people out of here. But yeah, man, that's my thoughts, and I will see y'all later. Peace. Be safe.